Hey, everybody. Welcome to Open the Gates. I'm your host, Matt Burke. And today we're going to be having on Luke Stone. He's going to be talking about his books, The Hybrid. So if you guys could give a warm welcome to Luke. What up, Luke? How
What's
you doing,
up,
bro?
man? Good, man. How you doing? Thanks for
I'm
having
doing
me.
great. Oh, for
I love
sure,
that
man.
I love that metal music at the beginning.
Oh, thanks, man.
That'll wake you up. That'll get you going.
Right? Yeah, man. It's been a crazy week. Just working, weird weather over here in California. Um, yeah, it's nice right now though. Had a good Friday yesterday, and
Yeah.
it was good.
Ironically, right?
And just getting ready, gearing up for Easter. How about you, man? How you doing?
Good, good. This is one of the first years that I've not in the pulpit during this time of year, which normally is very busy for me. If your church work, it's like your Super Bowl. That's what this is. You know that that Good Friday, Easter kind of weekend. It's pretty. You're pretty busy.
Yeah, it's like
So
crunch
it's
on.
yeah, so it's nice. I've liked it. It's been kind of low key, and yep, just stayed home and got some work done. We got family in this weekend to celebrate the holiday with, and so yeah, it's just not been too bad. Not been too bad at all.
That's always good, man. That's always good. Um, so like I have I've known about you for a long time. I think I might have been on one or two streams with you before. I know briefly about your book, um, but for those that have never seen you or know nothing of you, maybe you could give a little, tell a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't know who I am, and isn't that why we do these things? We try to remedy that, don't we?
Yeah.
Try to get out there and tell our book. Well, I've been working on this series called Hybrids for quite a while now. It's one of the many projects that I'm a part of, but it's kind of it's really one that's near and dear to me. So probably about feels about 2 decades now. I used to have a conversation with one of my mentors, and we would talk a lot about these more obscure things
Mm.
biblically. And one of the things that we like to talk about a lot was the Nephilim from
Mm.
from chapter 6 of Genesis.
Mm.
We
Interesting.
started to realize that that we could tie just about everything into the Nephilim story.
Yeah.
Greek gods were actually inspired by real life Nephilim, and so if Greek gods were, then that means the whole of mythology was. And what if what if aliens aren't really from outer space, but they're from under the water? If you take like some of those conspiracy theories, because they found underwater runways, and even Columbus was talking about, as he was coming across the ocean, talked about this flickering candle that was in the water that come up and flew beside him and then went back in. Well, what if that was a spacecraft, and
Right.
somebody had to, these pyramids everywhere and all this weird stuff. But what if it all stemmed? What if all these alien encounters were actually just Nephilim?
Mm.
That had this advanced technology and everything. And what if they were, I mean, obviously they were having babies, right?
Right.
So
Right.
what if they just kept having babies, and maybe that DNA, we know that they were wiped out at some point, but what if their DNA was still left behind, but so watered down that it was kind of, it was just kind of dormant in human beings. And
Yeah.
so that was kind of this idea that started to spark and to form. And so out of that idea, especially getting into the whole 23andMe, that kind of thing, you know, we started to think, well, what if the descendants of these Greek gods, what if they're still walking around today? Like what if in my bloodline, there was Zeus or Hades,
Right. You never
in
know.
there, yeah, you never know, right? So we kind of took that idea, but I wanted it to be more than just an idea. So I took several years to work
Mm.
on the structure of kind of this universe that I was creating, where all of those things that we thought were conspiracy or we thought were myth and legend were actually real, but it had a real explanation. They were fantastic, but they were just exaggerated. And then I created and kind of constructed a story around that, and for a reason, for those kind of fantastic things to happen again. And that story really revolved around the emergence of people getting powers again,
Mm.
but the people that were getting the powers were being abducted.
Oh, okay.
And so, why were they being abducted, and where were they being taken, and kind of what was the driving cause behind all this? And I didn't want to just kind of tell this story from a blimp's point of view, this big world thing. I wanted to tell a
Right.
story from kind of that person standing on the corner that gets wrapped up in the whole thing.
Grounded street kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and then so I decided that I wanted to tell the story from the point of view of someone that had had a family member abducted. And
Mm.
then that spun off to like, well, wait, what if I tell it from the point of view of one of the people that's being abducted, but then kind of gets wrapped up into this new family and finds out that this is the quest that they're on. And so that's what I kind
Oh,
of did. I kind of wrote, where, in the first arc, so we're on like book 9 now. I'm starting to draw book 10 next month. And,
sweet.
and we're just kind of folding out this whole idea of like where these things came from. They're trying to discover why they're getting powers, who they are. They do that after the first 5 issues. And then in book 6, we start to explore the fact that now some of the more sinister parts of our mythology or our conspiracy theories are true.
Right.
So we introduce this drug called the red cape,
Mm. Mm.
which is actually adrenochrome that's harvested from superpowered individuals.
Oh, wow. That's
So
some
yeah,
heavy duty right there.
so you got to think about kind of the crazy that goes behind that.
Right. Right.
And so we kind of deal with that and what it represents, and through the whole thing, it's actually, and then it's allegorical. I
Yeah.
mentioned just a little bit ago that this is my first year not in the pulpit or not in ministry, at least in many years. And I didn't write a Christian comic book, but I certainly wrote from my worldview, but I more like what Tolkien
Right.
or Lewis would do, where it's allegorical and there's storytelling within the storytelling. There's definitely that aspect of it. So there's kind of layer upon layer if you can find it, but really at the core of it, it's just this story about what a new kind of what family is,
Mm.
kind of beyond blood. You know,
Yeah.
these people are all brought together, and they have kind of one thing in common. They've got this. There's this whole thing of this one strand of DNA, this special DNA
Hmm.
that has brought them together on this journey through different means. Some because they possess it, and some because they love someone that does. And one, you find out later, has a much deeper story with it and a history with it than what we even realize. Right, even from the beginning, we give a hint of that in the second arc, in the Killing Field arc, but we go deeper into it in the next issue. So yeah, it's and I just wanted to do something that was really reminiscent of the comics that I grew up with that I loved. The Claremont era X
Yeah. I
Men.
would say kind of gives me a little bit of an X-Men feel, but more of like a
Yeah,
kind of like a biblical Judeo-Christian side of it too, a little bit, but not too
yeah,
much.
yeah. Just a
Which I'm
splash, just a
yeah, a little bit, and I'm fascinated with that. Like there was a video game I loved called Darksiders.
oh,
I don't
love
know
it.
if
Yeah,
you're, and they
yeah,
combined Norse mythology with Judeo Christianity, and
mm,
that's what I it was fun though. It was fun, and then the four
mm,
horsemen of the apocalypse, they were all part of the Nephilim, and
mm,
they couldn't really, but it made for a fantastic game.
mm,
Um, which I love. I love the first one, second one. I haven't played the third or the fourth one yet, but the first one's your war, the second one your death. Um,
yeah,
I've been seeing these videos on the internet a lot. Now my wife's been showing me. There's been people. spotting these giants that have been found up in the Rockies, I believe. Also in
Yes.
Mexico, they're coming out. There's also this video I wanted to show you, but I couldn't do it. My wife has it. Maybe I'll send it to you in DM later. But I was gonna bring it today, but I couldn't. I'm sorry. But
It's all right.
it was basically it was like a theory that this one YouTuber or podcaster had, that like the whole reason like our government's been going over to the Middle East was to extract that Nephilim DNA from the Middle East, from this place. I don't know if you heard anything about that before.
I had, but honestly, I heard about that after I started this comic.
Yeah, no, this is new.
Right,
This
yeah.
video is like a month old. So
I know, right? So it's like, so here's the problem I've been running into. I've been writing escapism. That's what I've been writing escapism for the last, well, I started producing this comic in 2015, 2016. The first one was actually published in 2016
nice.
in its first iteration. So, in there we have abductions, we have adrenochrome, we have aliens, we have
That's fun.
corporations, pharmaceutical companies, we have
Yeah, yeah.
all of this stuff, you know, uh, geoengineering. We have, and I'm putting all this stuff in this book, and I'm thinking, yeah, this is fun because it touches on things that we think could happen, or
Right, right.
there's enough touch to reality that it brings you in and gives you an explanation for kind of this stuff that happens without leaning on it too much. And then it turns out that a lot of this crap is real, and
Yeah.
they are turning the friggin' frogs gay,
Right, right.
and I'm like, holy cow. So I'm no longer writing escapism. I'm writing, I guess, a commentary.
Right. Right.
It's turning out to be a commentary because now, like, well, the Nephilim are real and their government's trying to extract their DNA. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, well,
Been there.
have they been reading my book?
Been reading my shit. And I'm just
What
like,
the
dude,
hell
that's
is going on?
yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm really digging it because I love that. I've always been obsessed with giants too. I love giants,
Yeah.
and like the bones that they've found throughout the world. And
Yeah.
I believe that they were, probably a strain or related to the Nephilim. That's just my, take on it.
I believe they're well, biblically, they're related to the Nephilim. We know they are. So
Yeah.
it talked about Goliath being, this 9-foot human being, and that he had 2 rows of teeth and 6 fingers and 6 toes, in each hand and foot, and said that he was a Nephilim. We know that Joshua went after the last king of the Nephilim, these giants in the land. When they went into Israel, the promised land, and said, there's giants there. We got to go kill them. They were Nephilim inhabiting this great plot of land. And so that's what we don't realize. It's there throughout the Bible quite often. And, we talk about the flood, and part of what the flood was there to do is to wipe out these creatures. But in my world, not only are giants real, but people with fantastical powers were real. These Greek gods that, could fly or control lightning and things like that. I mean, where did those stories come from?
Somewhere,
If it
right?
weren't for an exaggeration of something in the real life that they had seen. So we talk about that and draw that connection. And, if there's a minotaur, well, that means an angel had sex with a bull.
Right,
If
right.
there's a mermaid, that means an angel had sex with a fish. There's bestiality that took place,
Yeah.
And so, it all comes down to horny angels, really, is one of the big explanations for,
Well, the Watchers,
for
right?
stuff in there. Yeah, in the Watchers.
Yeah.
In fact, my team is called the New Watchers. They because the whole point of the Watchers were to come and to protect mankind, not to make it an abomination. So not only did they make mankind an abomination, the abomination that came from it, the Nephilim, they were cannibals. They would eat human
Right.
beings.
Right.
And
Exactly.
there's a villain. It's not really a villain. It's more of a construct within my universe that's going to be in a team up with another comic book company here very soon, very shortly,
Sweet.
called The Forge. And The Forge was designed to consume human beings.
Mm.
It's a sentient machine
Okay.
that that converts them to energy by
Oh, okay.
consuming them. Yeah, and so that's what it does. And yeah, it's always hungry. So they had, it's been. We find out that they were. It was encased. It was encased in a cave by these ancient fighters known as the Joshua Project.
Oh,
And so the
okay.
Joshua
Okay.
Project is we meet the Joshua Project in book 9, well book 8 and book 9, and then we get to really see their operation come book 10. We're in the throngs of this. We realize that what's happening in this small abandoned church in the hybrid universe is just the tip of the iceberg, and we start to expand our universe from there. We've done it, 9 issues. Now we've got a role playing game that we're
Ooh.
releasing right now too. So you can roll dice and create your own characters
Oh, wow.
based on the same math that I used to create the characters in the universe. And then you can play the characters as you will. Write your own stories or play a quick play. There's 2 different modules for quick plays that my partner wrote. That we've now he's put Easter eggs from the comics in the game, and I've put Easter eggs from his game into the comics. So they
Oh,
are interweaved, so you'll be able to see them, and you get to meet these other characters and fight alongside of them, and maybe even have them save your life a time or two, in the midst of a deep battle. So yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool what we're doing, and that will be released. It's going to go to print next month, actually. So we'll be printing those off next month. I've still got a little bit of work to do as far as the bestiary goes, and
oh,
getting
that's
things
fun, right?
finished, drawn up. Yeah, because
Oh,
there's some
wow.
characters that are,
Yeah, dude.
yeah, there's things that are in books that I've got written
Yeah.
and partially drawn, but not yet released. I don't know when I'm going to release them yet. That are in this, that are
Oh,
made it
snap.
into this game. Yeah, so it's a pretty deep world. So yeah, I've kind of gone. It's kind of my baby right now. It's
No,
the
I
story
mean,
I really wanted to tell. Yeah.
no, and it's like you can't go wrong with this what you're doing. Like that's like something I would do. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
The
it takes a
concept, you know what I
long
mean?
time to get here,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
many
then
years.
yeah, and I haven't been able to promote it the way that I wanted to, right? Because when you're working, when you're promoting, you're not drawing. When you're drawing, you're not promoting.
Right.
It's kind of a balance. Like you've got to figure out where that balance is. And for a lot of it, I didn't draw full time. I didn't do this full time. So my full time job was something somewhere else. This was kind of hobby levels, and then it became like in a part time level, and now it's my full time job. And
Sweet.
the only way to keep it that way is for me to do work for other people.
Right.
So I'm finding that I'm still not able to give this the effort that I want to try to get people to know about it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I still get to do comics full time.
That's
You know,
cool.
draw
And
draw
you're
fun
your own
pictures.
boss. You know what I mean? You don't got someone telling you what to do. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
well,
You
I
have
do have clients tell me what to do. They tell me, make this mouth look different or
Oh yeah, right.
yeah.
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 I hear you. That's true. I mean, you got a point there.
Yeah.
But I mean, you get to pick and choose your projects. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
don't
I get
got
to
that
pick.
guy like.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
get
I
to
don't know. It's
pick
a
and
little
choose my
different.
bosses, yeah, now.
Yeah. Right.
So it's it's like I work for myself, but that's really a misnomer when you really think about it. I work for everybody else, but I do have a lot of fun doing it. And
Yeah.
then I accidentally launched a crowdfunding website in the midst of this as well. So we're trying to manage that and give that some legs.
Yeah.
And
Fundmycomic.com.
yep,
I backed Diller's Canadian tussle on there.
yeah,
Yeah, man. Hopefully one day when I get my book ready, I'd like to launch it on there
I'd
too. I'm
absolutely
working
love
on
to
a,
have you on
a
there.
book right now too, but probably like in another year and a half.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, man. You're talking about the cannibalism too, and the six fingers and the two rows of
Yep.
teeth. Throughout, you probably know this, but like throughout the world, there's like different tribes that are talking about the same thing. Like they had to like
All
they
over.
find, yeah, that they basically had to take these fuckers out because they were eating everybody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, and that just kind of coincides with the Bible as well. I mean,
Yep.
it's very very fascinating, man. I do have a question for you, man. What's your favorite metal
Sure.
band?
Uh, it's hard to pick. I really like Red and I like In Flames
In
a
Flames, yeah.
lot.
Flames is my favorite
Like
band.
In Flames is probably my favorite.
Yeah. I still haven't heard Red. I mean, I know they went on tour with them, but I always wanted to check them out. But I got.
I love Red. I love them. Demon Hunter is another one of my favorite bands. I
Oh yeah,
love
I
them.
remember them. Yeah, they were back in the
Yeah,
day. They've been around a minute. Demon
they've been
Hunter, I
around a
remember them.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those three right there are probably they're probably well. I kind of also like Maylene and the Sons of Disaster.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check them
Yeah,
out.
I don't know if you heard them. They're kind of
Nope.
southern metal.
I like.
Yeah, they
I love
they're
metal, dude. I'm like a metal
yeah
stan. I just like all the genres, and I'm pretty loose with
yeah
like what metal is and what isn't. I always ask people that when
yeah.
they come on. It's funny though. 9 out of 10 people that come on here, or 8 out of 10 have a metal band. That's why, like, all right. That's I always ask people that.
I actually in music I started out playing metal.
Oh, nice. Hell
Well,
yeah.
actually I started out playing punk and then I migrated to metal as I got older. I was in a band called Prophecy, and
Oh,
then
nice.
then I was in a metal band that actually we got signed,
Dope.
and we did a cover of For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield. This kind of like metal version, but it was still pop enough that it got played on the radio a lot down in the South. You know, I'm originally from Indiana,
That's cool.
but down in like kind of the Alabama region
Yeah,
where
yeah.
our label was at, they got it on a lot of radio stations. And that movie Black Hawk Down,
Mm-hmm.
the band actually broke up and we kind of split ways with the record label
Mm.
right before, but we were in talks, and our cover of For What It's Worth was slated to. It was on the you know when they're trying to pick songs for the movie
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
soundtrack, they
Mm-hmm.
pick a lot of different songs and they narrow it down. We were on the board. Our song was on the board to do that, and that band was called. What was the name of that band? Something. Oh, Beyond Burial. It was called
Oh,
Beyond
okay.
Burial.
That
Yeah.
sounds familiar.
Well, then a lot of other people took that name after we went.
Mm.
You know, we had the copyright on the name for a while, and then we just let it go, and and then about a dozen other metal bands took up the name. But
Yeah,
yeah,
right. Swooped in.
yeah, and we had a real southern metal vibe is what we were going for.
That's cool.
Again, I was fans of we were a fan of Maylene and Sons of Disaster, so I would go between like a metal vocal and an actual singing voice, and so I would actually we would do it. We played a lot of different genres, like different locations, and we actually were invited to go on the like one of those like the Bud Light tour or something like that. I can't remember. It was like one of those like beer tours, right? But we were a Christian band and it was a Christian record label.
Yeah.
And the record label said, no, that wouldn't be a good look for us to go promote alcohol. And I'm
Right.
like, it would pay the bills and it would be a great opportunity to kind of
Exactly.
share our faith with other people. And so that was part of the reason why we left the label, because we realized we didn't share the same vision on things. So, but yeah, so I did metal for a while.
That's
And
cool,
that's
man.
why I kind of got out of comics. I really was out of comics for a while because I was doing music.
Me
So I
too.
did that, and then yeah, and then I did. I was in a band called the Gideon Press. That again, we were kind of on the edge of big things. Had a record label messing with us. Was getting ready to go on tour, and we had a really cool gimmick. Well, number one, I always wore a hat, cover my eyes up, a cowboy hat, because I'm shy. People don't realize that. Once I'm in front of people and talking, because I'm good at public speaking and I can turn it on and off. but I'm actually really shy, and kind of an introvert at times. And so I'd put the hat on so I wouldn't have to engage. So I didn't have to make eye contact with strangers all the time, you know?
Right.
And so it just kind of became a character so that I could kind of cope. and, yeah, so we played acoustic guitars, but they were acoustic electrics.
Oh,
We would
nice,
run them
nice.
through effects. And so we would do like distortion delays and reverbs and stuff on our acoustics.
That's
And this
awesome.
was before nobody was doing this yet, you know, when we started doing this.
Right,
And so
right,
people were like, you realize they make electrics, right? And we're like, yeah, you realize you can, you know, go kiss your mother with that mouth. You
right.
know, we were
Exactly. Like
pretty,
you don't
we were like,
understand what I'm trying to
it's like,
do
get
over
out of
here.
here. Yeah. It's like,
Obviously,
you're just mad because we can play better than you on acoustics. And
right.
I was really good at trash talking too. but so we did that for a while, and it was fun. We were getting ready to go on tour had an opportunity to go on
And
tour with Mercy Me. We opened for a lot of big bands back then.
yeah,
And then,
phantasmagorical.
yeah, what's up, guys? And then I, you know, felt called into local ministry. So I left that band and became a youth pastor. And then that led me to music ministry, which led me to adult ministry, which led me to Florida, where I
Mm.
became the youth and music pastor. With 9 months later, I became the lead pastor. And while I was here, I was trying to find another band to play with. It was just so hard to find another band if it wasn't metal or hip hop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm too old for metal now. I just don't want to do that. And
Right.
I've really gotten used to doing more kind of contemporary or like Americana. I was really into like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is the bands and stuff I'd been playing with, or you know, just straight up rock. And so I was trying to find a band. I couldn't find one. And then I got in Jacksonville on October 5th of 2015 I mean 2014 of November, sometime in November of 2014. My friend, we had this big friend group that was back here. We used to play games together, go to his house, and his dad would lead us in these games. And some of the characters that are in hybrids were actually made through this GURPS role playing game
Sick.
that I made for this Supers thing, and it, you know, just kind of solidified that I want to have my own role playing game
Right.
with a comic book, you know, with my comic book. But so these characters started that way, and so now they're back, you know, into the role playing world again. So it's great. But you know, we had this friend group, and my friend Gary, his brother, drew for IDW. He drew the GI Joe comic book, did several of those, and then he had his own book that was released through IDW, and he got some con crud in November of that year of 2014.
Mm.
Wound up passing away. He
Man.
was only a couple years older than me.
Sorry to hear about that,
Man,
man.
yeah, it blew my mind. Here's my friend. He's reeling from his loss of his brother. I mean, I didn't hang out with him so much because he was kind of at college at that point, and he was out pursuing his career,
Yeah.
out doing conventions, and he was making it. And it was one of those things when someone in your friend group does something that you've always wanted to do, you just kind of like, well, one of us made it, so it's okay. You know, I don't have to do it too. And that's kind of how it felt. You know, it's like, well, you know, Gary's brother did, you know, way to go, you know. And I just did ministry and music. I always felt like I was better at that anyway, you know. So that's where I was at. And he passed away, and it just hit me that, wow, I could die tomorrow and I could never accomplish this dream that I've had since I was 14 years old
Mm.
of drawing a comic book, you know, of having my own series, of doing this, doing that, you know. And you know, it kept me up. What's up, Ryan? What's up, dude?
What's up,
What's
Luke?
up, Brian?
Yeah.
First of all, let me apologize for being late. I was just like reading comics, and I decided to sit down and have something to eat. I was like, oh, let's see like if anybody's streaming. Oh, Matt's streaming. Oh shit.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, man. Oh, what? Oh, sorry, Brian. What were you saying?
No, I just bolted down my tuna fish salad and then just kind of bolted down here. So
I was gonna say, Luke.
apologies for my tardiness.
Uh, have you heard the new In Flames album?
No, I haven't.
You heard it, Luke?
Oh yeah,
What do you think of it?
that's pretty good. I like their I like a couple albums ago better actually.
Yeah, they got it's
Yeah,
crazy. Like people are like up and down on all the stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's
I'm
okay.
still I'm
They're
still
trying some
catching up.
things.
I'm still catching up with their discography because Matt turned me on to them. So I haven't heard the new shit. I'm
I
still
like
like
the new
catching
album.
up with the old shit.
I really
So,
like the new album, but
do you remember
yeah,
Mortification and Tourniquet from back in the day?
no,
Oh
Oh,
no.
check those guys out. Check both of them out.
okay,
You
I'll
will love
remember.
them.
I'll replay the stream and
Psychosurgery.
write those down.
Psychosurgery is one of my favorite songs of all time. And
Okay,
if
psychosurgery.
you wouldn't get copyright struck, I would actually play it for you because I can plug it right in.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I freaking love those guys. They're really good too. I
Which
always
band is
forget
this?
about them. Tourniquet, and Mortification. They're really good too, but Tourniquet was one of my favorites. They've got an album. They got a song called Psychosurgery. It's one of my favorite songs. Gears me up every time I hear it.
I was gonna tell you too, man. There's this band called Devil Driver. It's with the singer Cold Chamber, but they kind of got like well, they're kind of like groove like Pantera, but mixed with In Flames on some stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard to. But anyways, they did a country album, dude. A death metal groove country album. They have like Hank Williams
okay.
the third on there. They have all these different like
Sweet.
country singers. It's called Ghost Riders in the Sky.
Oh, awesome.
It's a hard recommend. Hard recommend
All
for you.
right,
You'll
man,
probably
I'll
like
check it
it.
out.
They got
gotta
some.
check
They got
that
some
shit.
solid. They got some solid. They got the singer Lamb of God on a couple tracks. Randy Blythe.
Okay, yeah.
So I like Devil Driver. They're like a cool California band. But yeah, man, I wanted to talk about bring up your campaign. I actually have it right here on
Sweet.
funmycomic.com.
Let's do it.
If you like, I could share it unless you would like to share it.
No, go right ahead. Yeah.
Sweet, bro.
Yeah.
Just give me a
I
second.
love it when I don't have to drive, man. I stream all the time. I'm always well, I was told, that it's important to try to build your own channel. You got a lot of that you can't always depend on the charity of others, to bring you on and promote your stuff. And the best way to let people know what you're doing is to just try to build your own platform. And so I started trying to do that, and in more ways than one.
How many subs do you have so far?
4,021.
Nice.
Dude, I got like 384. so you're doing a lot better than I am, bro.
Well, I got to be honest with that. A lot of those subs came from when I was doing music content. So I used to post up all my music stuff, and I used to post up video tutorials. Some of those subs came from a long time ago when I used to do this fun web show called Ghost Diaries, where we would go to haunted places around Indiana and do like paranormal investigation, try to debunk them. I was the Christian skeptic guy that did that, So me and my friend Tobin did that. So I had a lot of subs from there. And then about a year ago, I hired a promoter. I had a few $100, and so I decided to take some of that money, and they helped me with using tags and using, what to do with titles. And then they promoted my channel on a bunch of related mailing lists,
Nice.
So I went up, and I probably went up 2,000 subs just from that.
Nice.
Just from that alone. Yeah.
So you earned those subs.
I did earn them. Yeah. I mean, they're all earned. Yeah. And they're not paid for. Well, technically about 2,000 of them are paid for, but I actually paid a promoter, somebody to work with me,
Just to get people to know that you exist.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, not he, there was a guy, he was clueless. He didn't know anything, but I hired this lady named Judy, and she was, she was really good at kind of teaching me what I needed to do. And they told me, hey, you need to have short form films. You don't need to live stream all the time. And they're right, and I can't keep up with all the demands.
Right.
But when I did for like that 2 months, my channel grew like crazy when I followed all of their tips and tricks. I got really gained a lot. And then having them, with their access to the different mailing lists that they had, they pushed my channel out to those, and I mean, it grew. I mean, it really grew. So
Nice.
yeah, But yeah, that's where we're at today.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
You
when
got a pretty
YouTube
cool
went,
trailer. Oh, sorry. What
oh
were you
no, go
saying?
ahead.
I
I was
was
just
gonna
gonna
say,
say when YouTube went through and scrubbed a bunch of accounts a few months ago, like a lot of my old subs from back in the day all got cleared out. So I lost about 500 subs. And I was like,
damn.
where'd they go? And I realized, my channel's a decade old. That's probably those old music, some of the, not necessarily the music, but those old paranormal people that subbed, because I haven't done anything like that in years.
Right.
So they probably have not had any interaction with my channel, especially when I've gone to strictly comic books.
Oh
Right,
yeah.
right, because those are different audiences, although there's probably some crossover too.
Yeah, now if I did like a horror book or paranormal comic, then yeah, it would have been, but I'm too conspiracy theory. So yeah.
Did you want me to show your trailer, brother?
Feel free, yeah.
All right.
Let's check.
I
Yeah, let's
paid
check
enough
that
for
out.
it.
Here we
Oh,
go.
look at this art, man! It's reminding me of John Romita Jr. Actually.
Thank you. He is
Yeah.
an inspiration of mine, among others. Yeah.
I like JR.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Lockdown Games and Luke. Lockdown Games and Luke Stone Studios presents Hybrids, the role-playing game. This core rules to the new Base Plus 2 game engine allows you to design your own character and create your own homebrewed adventure, complete with charts, maps, and every resource needed to dive right into the Hybrids universe on your own, or continue where the quick play left off with a brand new module. Get caught up on the series with the Killing Field trade paperback. Enhanced with creator commentary and behind-the-scenes information, this special edition gives you even more value in entertainment. All this and more on Fund My Comic.
Sweet.
Nice. I was digging
yeah.
that music too, man.
I got some in flames right there.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. So this is your book right here. We were talking about a little bit before you his universe a little bit before you jumped on, Brian. For all that you that are watching that don't know, Luke has started his own crowdfunding site called Fund My Comic. He touched on it a little bit earlier, and this is a comic book without all the crap that you're going to get from some of the bigger named sites. If you guys, I don't know, maybe if you want to touch on that a little bit, Luke, I think that might be pretty cool, dude.
Sure. Screw those guys over there. Screw IGG. Stupid Indiegogo.
Yeah, baby.
Stupid Indiegogo. All right. So before my nap, I call my coma. A lot of people know that I was sick. That's why I've got the voice I've got now and why I'm not playing music, because I lost use of my left arm entirely for a while, and then I was vented in a coma for 5.5 weeks. My vocal cords got damaged, so I can't sing or play anymore. Talked about that music stuff, and I can't do that anymore. All I can do is draw. So it's almost like God saying, dude, just focus on the comics, right?
Right.
So that's
I
what
mean,
I'm doing.
because that's terrible. But on the other hand, it's like, well, you're still breathing. You're on the right side of the dirt.
Right, yeah, and I'm able to do this, and maybe one day I'll be able to play again. I'm learning a lot of MIDI stuff and things like that in loops, and so I actually make some of my own music for my trailers. I didn't make that; I bought that through my connections. But so if you do get copyright struck and you need the license for that, let me know. I've got the license for that music for you. But no, I before my nap, I knew that the world was getting a little crazy for Christians to start with. One of the conversations that I had with my church board was we knew that a bit of legislation was trying to be pushed through. It didn't make it, but if it would have, we would have had I could have been criminally charged for speaking biblical truth about marriage and sexuality, from the pulpit, it could have been considered a hate crime, so I could have been arrested for it, and the church could lose its tax exempt status. And so we had a meeting to decide on whether, as we were talking about that, it was a pretty quick meeting too. And said, hey, this is legislation's coming up. What do you guys think? They go, well, I guess we lose our tax exempt status and we'll have to bail out our pastor. And so that was the extent of that meeting. So we knew what was going on, but it was something that I was aware of before my nap. And when I woke up, it almost felt like the Twilight Zone. Everything was so messed up. And when I come home from the hospital after 5 months in January of 2022, I found that the first thing I noticed was that Vaughn couldn't get his money. And I'm like, I didn't know Vaughn much, and I didn't know much about his book. But I went and looked at it, but I was like, well, it was approved and it funded, and now they don't want to pay his money because of something on the campaign page? That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand how they can do that.
Yeah.
Right? And then I noticed that there was this James Rock from Broken Compass Comics had the same thing happen. And I started thinking, something's up. And I knew that both these guys were connected to Comicsgate through their, they're more conservative guys. And well, guess what? I'm kind of right in there with all that, right? You couldn't, I couldn't deny Comicsgate if I tried at this point, I think, in my life. Comicsgate was raising money to give to my wife so she could drive back and forth the hour one way to come see me in one of my rehab facilities. They help me pay for some doctor's bills. There's too much of Comicsgate money in my bank account to ever deny them, right? Nor would I try. They've been amazing fans. And so I knew it's like, oh boy, they're coming after the Comicsgate guys. And then I started seeing the shadow banning, and I'm like, uh-oh, they're coming after these. They're not going after the big ones. They're coming after us little ones.
Yep.
That, they're going to try to keep us out. And so I started thinking, I need to make my own website. I need to be able to crowdfund for my own. And so I started working on it, and I found out that Aerith was making a website, doing it. And I looked into it, like the whole WordPress thing. Now I'm anal, all right? I woke up from my nap to find out that a friend of mine had grifted me on a distribution deal. You might have heard the Liberty distribution debacle that took place. I was in on that. I was like, Randy and I woke up from our comas because he was sick at the same time I was. Our stories are almost identical. And to find out that this friend had ripped us off, And so I'm like, people are like, you used to be a lot nicer. And I'm like, yeah, well, when you get screwed over so many times because you were nice to people and you believed the best of them, you stop doing that, right? So I'm not as nice. I'm way more empathetic and I'm way more charitable than I used to be. But I kind of always have like an eyebrow raised with every action from people, right? And so I started thinking, I need something secure, and WordPress wasn't going to be secure enough for me. So I started looking, and I knew I had read about some white label companies and developers that create code and slap your name on it for you, right? Just like they do with coffee or anything else. So I'd been researching this a little bit, and so I started looking around. And I found a few different developers that did it. And then I created, I just tested it out. I didn't even attach a domain or anything to it because I really wanted something that I could just plug into my own website that I already had. And so I found this company that I liked, and they had a infrastructure that was strong and was scalable. And that if there were features that I wanted added, I could have them added. So there was like an out-of-the-box feature, but I could customize this thing infinitely, right? Now, I wouldn't be able to keep the code forever. It's still their code. But as long as I'm their customer, I have access to all these things, these bells and whistles that I add. And I liked that a lot. I'm like, okay, that's great. And the first thing that I noticed was they had this little widget where I could plug it right in to my own website. And so I just like, hey, that's what we're doing. And I tested it out with the first volume there, that remaster, volume 1, with the nice bisexual lighting on it. And it worked. It was a strong infrastructure, payment processed perfectly. I was able to fund and fulfill, and I'm like, this is great. Did it from my own website. And then in the process, I realized I could crowdfund more people, not just myself, because I'd been researching payment processing and things like that. And
Right.
it was starting to get really complicated, but I didn't want to do it. So I was like, maybe I'll just help out a couple of friends. So I told a couple of people that, hey, I could crowdfund you. If you get shadow banned and you just have a problem, I've got a platform you can plug right into your website. You don't have to worry about it.
Nice.
And then people started saying, Luke, you need to do more with this. Like, the whole community needs this. We've been talking about this for years. They said, we've been waiting on the big guys to make it. They've said that it was coming and nothing's happened yet. I mean, it's hard. It's expensive. I don't know how you're able to do this. I said, I don't either. I just kind of found it, and I had a bit of severance money from the church closing. So I was, I had a little bit of money sitting around. So I was able to kind of try to build my own, infrastructure for myself so that I could have a career down the road. And in that, I relented and decided to share what I was doing with everybody else. And so we came up with a name, Fund My Comic, and it happened to be available. And so we bought the URL, the domain. I started working with another company because I didn't want to, the payment processing was going to confuse me. Or not necessarily confuse me, but it was a headache.
Right.
And I didn't want to deal with it. I just want to make comics. The whole point of this was I wanted to make comics and be left the hell alone.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But
That's what we all want.
Right. And I found out that's all everybody wants, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that's why I decided we needed to give this to everybody. And we wanted to do it as low as cheap as we could. Originally, we were thinking about a 2% platform fee, but we weren't able to manage that with the fees and everything that we have, of regular maintenance and what we need to be able to add additional features. So we had to go with 3%. But still, that's pretty darn low.
Very. Compared to the other crowdfunding sites?
Yeah.
That's virtually nothing, dude.
Yeah,
Right.
they're all 5 and we're 3. Which, but we're small but we're boutique and it's all hands on. We're very boutique and we're all very hands on with things, And so I went over to this other company, and because they said they could handle the payment processing and they were going to build their own infrastructure with it and everything like that. And they had big promises. They said, we're ready to do what this other company that you had. We can do all that and we can do more. And so they gave me a few deadlines. We gave them some money, gave them a lot of money. They gave us a few deadlines, and they blew past those deadlines and didn't make it. Right. And so finally we were like, screw it. We're going back to the other guys. So we went back to the other guys and said, how fast can you get us going? We're like, here's the keys. And then we were able to kind of build out the site in a week after waiting for months for this other company.
Crazy. Huh?
Now, after the first time this other company, Surrendum, blew through a deadline, the first thing I did was when they didn't hit their deadline, I go, all right, I know how this is going to happen. Again, remember, I'd been screwed a few times, one by my best friend, so I don't trust anyone anymore,
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, so this isn't happening anymore. So I decided that when they missed that deadline, I was going to start putting everything in place to do my own payment processing. And so at this point, Todd Altmans came on as a partner. And so he and I, and then a couple days before we were supposed to launch, I get a notice. I was supposed to be staying in the parsonage for another year. And out of the blue, the pastor that we gave the parsonage to kicked us out and wouldn't respond to my phone calls or anything. So I had 15 days to leave. And so we wound up having to move cross country while we're trying to launch the website, while I'm dealing with learning all this stuff. So I'm getting lawyers, I'm getting accountants, I'm talking with them. I said, give me the information I need. And I talked to a few people. I figure out what I need for payment processing. I talked with Todd. I said, we're going to have a meeting as soon as I get settled in a new place. And so we got settled, and I said, here, I've got everything in place for payment processing. It's the exact same thing that IGG and Kickstarter are using.
Nice.
So here's how it works. We went through everything. The accountants looked over it. We had our terms of service, our privacy policy, and everything looked like written up. The lawyers took that, looked over it. When they gave us a thumbs up, we started throwing things in. And that's when we called back the old company and said, hey, what can we do? And they're like, here's the keys, go for it. And so we just went right in and built out the site in a week, went into about a week's worth of test where we had a bunch of, like probably 15 or so campaigns come on to test. We ran it in test mode, giving links to friends so they come on and just get back with this fake credit card number, right? And just go in and do everything we tested. We're like, all right, I think it'll go. I mean, obviously we're in beta. We're going to have to, run into hiccups as we go, but we'll get there, right? And so then we launched. We launched 5 weeks ago Friday.
Sweet.
Yeah, and here we are.
Here you are now, huh?
Here we are
That's
now.
sweet,
We've
man.
got well over 200 users that are using the website right now. I think it's 250.
Really?
250 users using the website. We've got
Sweet.
21 or 22 campaigns that are approved in approved status. I think about half of those are actually actively funding right now.
That's awesome.
In the first month, the site not only paid for itself, but put money into the bank for upgrades.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean it's doing well. We've been talking with other creators that have a little more pull than we do, that are coming over to the website soon and going to be launching campaigns.
That's excellent.
So yeah, things are going well.
Yeah, man. I couldn't really
Fantastic, man.
ask for anything more. I was wondering, man, would you like to go over some of the tiers on this?
Sure, absolutely. So right now we started out on Indiegogo because I didn't know exactly. I needed to get this book going, and I didn't know exactly when we were going to be live because of the move started happening, and so we had to make some adjustments. And then I realized that I'm not going to get backers on Indiegogo because everyone's waiting for Fund My Comic. And so then we we closed down the Indiegogo. We raised like $1,300 over there. And so we have the $1,300 right now that is going towards the rest of the money that we want to raise in our stretch goals. We don't have to raise anymore. We can pay for the print run, but it would sure be nice to raise a bit more money and not just break even on this thing, but be able to pay Nick, because he's been waiting for 3 years for a payday on this book because I went into a coma, and so he's been waiting for a while on this thing. And so here we are. But so to celebrate our beta 2023, we have a special code right now, beta 2023. It's a coupon code. You can actually get a discount.
Oh, that's cool.
On any of the tiers, you get a 20% discount. So everything that you see here today, if you use that code, you can actually get it for a little cheaper. Like this right here, it's Try It First. I understand that 2 trade paperbacks in a role-playing game, that's $25 a piece for each one of those trades, 144 pages each. And the game is 35. It's 140-ish, 150-ish pages probably by the time we get the bestiary finished out. It's that's a lot of money to jump in on something that you're brand new to, right? And we're realizing that every campaign we've got brand new readers that are coming along, because we normally average about 120 backers, and about a 20% organic growth each time, and so it keeps going up. But right off the heels of Rift Riders, which was very successful, there was a lot of shadow banning. This was shadow banned. My last campaign was shadow banned, which was for book 9, just the floppy. And so that one didn't do well. This one wasn't doing well because of the shadow banning, all of that. And it's like, you just get frustrated.
Right.
So it kind of feels like we're kind of trying to gear back up a little bit with all of that mess. But we understand that as we're trying to find new readers and expand our audience That's a lot to buy in on. So we have this thing where you pledge $1, and I'll send you out the PDFs for issue 1 and issue 2 and the quick play that we developed for basically 80 cents if you use the code. I send it out right away so that you can check it out and come back and back it.
That's nice.
Now, you
Good
see,
sample.
this is smart. This is smart.
Yeah.
I always, like on my campaigns, try to put a link where people can download the first issue of my book for free, so they can get a chance to kick the tires, see if it's something that they're interested in. And this is just a really like practically free way to do that. Except you're offering like a heck more content.
Yeah, and the reason why we decided not to go with completely free is because originally, we were thinking Indiegogo, we were going to fight the algorithms, because but with here, it's like $1 helps.
Yeah.
$1 helps us. I mean, it's $1 more than what we had.
Right.
So we could give it away, but if you could give us $1, we'll give you, and right now it's 80 cents. Doesn't sound like a lot, but those pennies add up,
Yeah.
especially when,
dollars.
especially when I'm not paying a platform fee.
Right.
So that is the bonus of owning your own platform, is you don't have to pay the fee.
Now, do people need to create an account on Fund My Comic in order to buy these PDFs for $1?
They do. They do have to register. An inline registration is really simple. You put your name. You don't even have to put your real name. We have people do that all the time. They use their assumed names, or their screen names. We actually just had a troll that we've had to. One of our creators is having problems with, so our support team has been on that, dealing with that this weekend for him. And but again, that's what you get. Indiegogo doesn't do that for you. Kickstarter doesn't do that for you.
Right.
But we're there. We're like, all right, we're gonna, we've actually got our development team trying to hunt down their IP address.
So that's awesome, dude.
So that his
nice.
lawyer can deal with these people.
So that's like one-on-one customer service.
Yeah.
One-on-one, man. Yeah, and most of the time you get me, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I'm anal. We've gone over this, right? And I trust the people that I have working with me, that I've brought on to support me. But just like with my book, no one's going to sell it better than I do. No one's going to sell Fund My Comic better than I do right now. And no one's going to take care of you better than I will, because I care the most.
Right.
Like right now, I care the most. And so, I mean, there's going to be people as we grow that, obviously, we've got people already in the wings that are being trained up to do this stuff, and they've started helping out and taking care of campaign administration.
Nice.
We've assigned them creators, and they are in charge of them. And so that's working out great. These are people that are passionate. These are people that love comic books as much as I do, that love people that make games and novels and miniatures and video games as much as I do. So we care about the creator. And so, yeah, it's very much kind of that one-to-one thing. Oh, and there's one other thing that we do. Someone recently referred to us as a what did they say? It was kind of derogatory. It was not very nice.
Well, you're going to get that. You're going to get that.
You get the haters.
There's going to be a lot of pushback. Like when you started this, I was thinking like, oh shit.
You said it. Yeah. Like, you're going to piss some people off, Luke.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I think I have. But here's the thing. I like that. But this isn't for the people that don't need it. Right.
Right.
Let's be honest. There's people that they have audiences. They don't need this. This is for the people that, man, they need to be able to crowdfund without being shadow banned, without being outright banned.
Right.
And this is for them. I'm like a real grassroots kind of guerrilla warfare type guy. So I'm not, if you've got 1 million people that watch you every day, you don't need me. You don't need me. If you don't have that, then you need this. This is for us. Yeah. This is the punk rock of comic book crowdfunding is what this is.
Hell yeah.
This is F the establishment. We're doing it our damn self, right?
Yep.
Because we want to make, because we want to make comics and be left the hell alone.
Yep.
That's exactly what this is. And so, but we make sure that people have to register in line so that there's at least some buy-in to that. And you can put in whatever name you want, and we will deal with the trolls that come in to abuse our freedoms. We will do that. But we also, you can also, when you attach your payment stuff there, it's hidden behind a wall, right? So Stripe takes care of all that. I don't keep that. It's not me.
Yeah.
So what I see is what you actually have that's public, and your email address. That's what we see is that. But we can, but yeah, so you do have to register to buy it. So that way we've got that information, but it's super easy.
Oh,
It's way easier than all the other ones.
Right.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Can I just address that really quickly?
Go for it, man.
Folks, don't because I know, look, I'm lazy like that too. Okay? And that's what it is. It's pure laziness. I get it. I understand it. You hate like having to register for new crap. I'm telling you, it's very quick. It's very simple. And then you've created an account. Then you can always come back and just back a book without hassle.
Or start one. Yeah.
Right. So
If it takes you more than 10 seconds to register, you're probably doing something wrong.
Yes.
Because I don't like to take any time doing anything.
Yes. So everybody, at the very least, go and register on Fund My Comic because it's super quick and super simple.
Super fast.
Man, we got some
Super fast.
cool things over there too. Some really cool books.
Yep. Yeah, man.
So another thing that we do that's a lot different than everyone else. See, they will keep your money in an escrow and hold it. And the reason why they hold it is so that they can gather interest on that money. Mm-hmm. And it's smart. It really is. It's smart, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's also dirty as fuck.
It is. It's dirty. So, like, I was dealing with a new user today that was trying to start a campaign, and they've never worked with Stripe. And so when you create your Stripe Connect, you have to create a Connect account with us.
Right.
And so how it works is for our payment processing, we have Fund My Comic has their Stripe account, and then everybody that is in there has a connected account. All right. And then the money processes through our platform, but then filters down into your account
Oh, okay.
at the time of transaction. All right. So it is only touching, the only thing that touches Fund My Comic are the tips and our platform fee. The rest of the money goes directly to your Connect account, which means the longer it sits in there, the more interest it collects. For not Fund My Comic, but for Brian Christgau,
I like the
for
sound of
Matt
that.
Burke.
Right. That sounds like
It goes to you,
That's
except on the account where there's a all or nothing campaign, and that money is then captured at the end. All right, then it gets transferred to you.
Nice.
It gets captured at the end, and then gets transferred. But we do on all of the keep it alls, the keep it alls, we will process those payments on a regular basis, even if you haven't funded yet. Because here's why. The reason why I wanted to do this, it came down to this, why I wanted to run on my website. It's because I needed the money right away for paying for the things I needed to order, paying for the art for covers, and to finish some of the production of the books. It just made sense. And if the stuff and when I didn't need the money, if it was for the print run, let me just put that over here and let it draw interest for me.
Right.
That's what it was, right? And so that's how we run that. So let's say, for instance, you're running a book and you need to raise some money to pay for the art on it. You can actually run and start getting payouts for that if you run a keep it all, where, hey, no matter what happens, I'm making the book.
Right.
But man, it sure would be nice to have another $100 right now to pay for the art this week so that I can buy groceries or I can put gas in my car, So as the money comes in, you're able to use it to produce your book.
And you can pay him to do more, or like maybe help put more art up on the campaign or something like that, maybe?
Yeah, so that you can kind of work that process, because many of us know how to do that. Now, obviously, we work with people that have never crowdfunded before, it's like, well, if you've never done a crowdfund before, a keep it all may not be the best one for you because you may not know how to manage what you're doing. So let's do an all or nothing. Let's try it out with that first. And then if it funds, then we can move it over to keep it all, right? And so we're there to work with people on those kind of things as well. But it's your business. At this point, it's your business. It's you taking money from your customers. And we just facilitate it. So when someone says that it's what did they use? The word was, I can't remember, but it's going to drive me crazy. Something like dumbed down or it's almost like they're saying like the Walmart version of IGG or something, right?
Yeah,
and it's like, dude, you don't
IGG.
even know. It's like, you don't even know what we're doing, bro. Like, you have no idea what's under the hood here. It's like, this is nothing. The thing is, it's nothing like Indiegogo. Like, we're not.
Yeah, it's like
we're
Indiegogo
not
ain't even anything now. Like, you can't even get your book shown on there. It's like you don't even exist. It's nothing
Yeah, we
whatsoever.
are not replicating those guys.
And
it doesn't even
taking our
exist.
money.
And they're taking your money and laughing at you.
They're taking 5% of your money, right?
Your book don't even exist anymore unless you got a big YouTube channel where people are watching and they could drop, mods in the chat. You know what I mean?
In that case, getting shadow banned works for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No,
Like,
it does. It does.
Yeah, I'm shadow banned, so everyone's like, "Let's go."
Go.
For me, I'm like, I've got 4,000 subs, but I've got maybe 40 people that watch live between all the things that I stream to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got shadow banned, and they're like, "We already backed you." They're trying their best too, and I'm like, I've got several backers that have been like, "I just can't buy into this one yet, man. It's too expensive." I'm like, I get it, because we've got those two quick plays, that are with it too, and we've got the brand new quick play, that module too, that you've got up on there. That's brand new too. So you got 5 different books, all brand new. The cheapest thing we got on here is $15, and that's still a lot of money right now. That's still a lot of money when Biden screwed up the economy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, what are you going to do?
People are really hurting right now, and not everybody has, money to spend, and we're all feeling that. I don't think the big boys are. It's definitely affected us.
They're feeling it a little bit.
That also because it's taken them 3 years to put out a book, and so
but
we
look,
end up suffering for that too.
30% of our backers feels like a lot more than 30% of their backers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how it is, right?
Right.
I mean, it's just like when I was at a church. They said, 30% of the church is no longer going to church anymore after the pandemic, either online or in person. Mm-hmm. And it's true. The big churches felt it because that was a big number. They felt the crunch. But you know what 30% did to small churches?
Yeah,
it closed them.
Yeah.
Destroyed them. They closed. They couldn't. Yeah. They could not survive with 30% of their people gone.
That was horrible, man. Like, I live, like, there's a lot of churches where I live. It's like more churches than anywhere, I think, in the world, against Book of World Records. Like, there's a church every few,
boy, does it need it.
From like every denomination, right?
Yeah,
and there are a lot of them.
I talked to a lot of like ministers and pastors, and I'm just like, man, during like the pandemic, like there was so many like protests and like riots and things going on. You know what I mean? But they could do that, but we couldn't have our churches open. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's so many people to help. There's so many people to help, and not enough resources right now.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we're all feeling it. But yeah, 30% of your audience, Brian, is going to hurt you. 30% of my audience is going to hurt. And you have better numbers than I do. 30% of my audience kills me. I mean, it's like, I'm like, dang, man.
Yeah. That's why it's just like I complain, but then I realize like, well, crap. I've got people that are, have amazing looking books, and they haven't even been able to crack like 2,000 yet.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, so it's just like I'm kind of an established creator. I worry about the people that are coming in behind us too.
Yeah. Well, I think.
What are they going to do?
I think it was Randy that told me they got to go to Fund My Comic. Well, I was talking to Randy. I think it was Randy that told me this. He said, breaking into comics is a lot like breaking out of jail. As soon as you do it, someone's behind you trying to keep anyone else from doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I don't want that same phenomenon to happen with me or anybody that I work with.
No.
So I'm like, well, let me make a doorway and pave a road if I can.
Right.
And then someone said, "Do you consider yourself a trailblazer?" I'm like, "No, I do not." But I you know,
Well, you
if
are,
anything,
dude.
Well,
You are.
we
You are.
say
You're doing it.
grab an oar. You built a canoe, dude.
well, that's the idea. Yeah, let's I think the grabbing an oar thing. I think those days are kind of over, man. In fact, I said we're using the wrong analogy. I said we need to be building canoes. We need to be building an ark. We need a Noah. And I guess if I'm supposed to be the Noah, I'm the Noah, I guess. Here's an ark for us to use. And that's why I said it's not for the people that are fine, that have got the yachts, that can survive this thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's for us that can't, That's who it's for. And so it's where I'll be crowdfunding all my books, and several other people are like, Fund My Comic is my exclusive home. And so this is what we need. And so that's what we're doing. That's where we've come. So far we've come. So
if I want to pick up the books, like right here, so you have the first 9 floppies and broke down into 2 volumes, right?
yeah, 2 trades right here. The first 5 is in book 1. That's
Okay.
called the Trash Day arc because it's well, you'll
Trash
read it,
Man,
you'll
right?
find out why it is. Yeah, it's about it starts out with him at work. It's Trash Day.
That's awesome.
It's yeah.
Is he a
So it kind of
garbage
starts
man?
out. He is a garbage man.
Oh,
the main
that's awesome.
The main guy you read.
Okay, I like
That's
that.
what he does. That's what he does for a living.
That's
It
dope.
opens up. Well, page 3. It opens up with him at his day job.
Okay, real blue collar,
so-
dude.
Yeah, he's real blue collar. In fact,
Yeah.
that's his name's Clarence, but he goes by Trash Man. Even his superhero name was Trash Man. That's what his catchphrase is. It's time to take out the trash. Everyone picks on him for it,
That's a
but he
good
knows
one.
it's awesome, so he's not worried
it's
about
awesome.
it.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, and then the next 4 books is the Killing Field arc,
Okay,
which things get a little darker, things get a little rough in there. And then the next arc is going to be called Lifeline.
So
And
that's coming soon, right?
That's coming soon, very soon this year.
Oh,
we'll
dope,
have those
dope.
3 books out, and then we'll have it all compiled into 3 trades, but those will be hardback and big compendium. And then you've got module 1 and 2 of the quick plays.
okay,
And then you've got the quick play number 1, the first module, introduces you to the rules. It's almost like a tutorial level on a video game.
okay.
So it's your tutorial level. And then module 2 just continues that story and helps you understand the powers better, implementing and adding powers and stuff to your characters.
That's
The
dope.
core rules has everything you need to build a character from scratch. Uses all the math and all of the stuff that I use to build my characters in my head for this universe. And then it gives you all the maps and the bestiaries that you need to write your own adventures. It's really cool.
Oh, I love that
So yeah,
stuff.
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So this is
I
telling
love,
Brian.
I love that stuff. Even if I don't have
the
like friends
bestiaries.
to play with, I love getting my hands on that stuff and reading it. And the
Yeah.
bestiaries, of course,
Yeah,
are
I
always
love
my
bestiaries.
favorite. You know,
Yeah,
the old
I have a
Monster
lot of
Man,
fun
old
with that.
D&D Monster Manual. That was my shit.
Yeah, we're
Love
having a
the,
lot
you
of
got
fun
the
with
shirt
that right
too
now.
right here too. You can rep the hybrids. I'm a t-shirt and jeans dude. I always
Yeah.
like. I can't, but I mean, I would love to have shirts for all the, all of our books
For
and
everything,
Stuff,
yeah.
You know what I mean, I'll wear them on wherever.
Yeah, I actually did. We just added the merch.
Oh, that's cool.
I wanted to do a couple of T-shirts. I thought it'd be kind of nice to.
Yeah, totally,
Everyone
dude.
really likes the double helix design
Yeah, it looks
for
cool.
the for the book, so we decided to just put that on a T-shirt, so you can get it in blue and red.
The badass cover right there.
That is
you
Cannon
can-
White.
Yeah,
Oh,
Kanan's White's awesome.
Kanan's
He
a
just did a
beast.
Raziel piece, dude. On Legacy of Kane. He just did a Raziel. I don't know if you guys remember Legacy of Kane.
Yeah, of course.
Soul Reaver. He just busted
Yeah.
one out. I was like, "Where's my boy Kane at?" Seen it on there yesterday. It was yesterday because I like
Nice.
Kane a lot. Kane's awesome,
Oh, yeah.
What's those Raziel? But yeah, I love Kanan White's art. So good.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he really captured the kind of the darkness of this arc.
I love the artwork too that you're doing, man.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
When you launch your next book, you got to come back on the show, dude. I want to talk about it some more. 'Cause,
Yeah, I would love
your
to.
world's so big, dude. We could talk. Like, there's a lot to discuss.
There's
lots
so
to
many
unpack.
facets to it. Yeah, we could talk
Lots to
for
unpack,
ages.
man.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the end of this next arc. We've already started talking about this group called the Council,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll just give you guys a little spoiler.
Sweet.
So, the Nephilim story, it ties into every bit of mythology in our human history. Okay. And do you guys like Egyptian gods?
Of
Yeah.
course.
Absolutely.
Well, they are the council.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A very
They-
underutilized pantheon.
Very
Yep.
much so.
Yep. So the council of Egyptian gods is our next antagonist that we're going to have to deal with
Oh man.
starting in issue 13. So yeah, I've got a lot planned, man. I've got a big universe, a big story to tell.
I'm digging
Yeah,
the
I
trash
love
man.
it.
He's cool.
He is cool. He's a lot of fun. So this artist is a guy named Chris Scalf, and he works for a lot of major companies. In fact, he helped bring Giant Man Thing to life for
Oh,
the
nice.
Werewolf by Night movie.
Yeah.
He was
yeah.
one of the people that was responsible for that.
Cool.
In fact, I think the main artist for that,
No
for
kidding.
Man Thing. And so yeah, he did that. But yeah, here we go. He
Marine.
did these cards. So we actually have 6 cards. We're only showing 3 of them right now. And those numbers, those stretch goal numbers, reflect where we want to go from the 1,300 that we raised already.
Okay.
And so that did get reflected. That's why it has like a weird number. But yeah, I do have a total of 6, and we're going to wind up doing a total of 9 special edition cards that he is doing the art for. So
Sweet.
Love the cards, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to get these books, man. And you guys can pick them up on this campaign. You can get both books for $50 plus shipping. Shipping's pretty good right now too.
yep, we're shipping in June.
Oh, okay. So that's right
That's the
around the
plan. June, July
Nice.
is when we're going to
Right around the
ship this
mountain.
thing. Yep.
Heck yeah.
and then you guys could pick up the single. You guys get you want to get Trash Day. Pick up the first one. You can get on the ground level. On the
Yep.
street. How this big epic started.
Yep.
Get that for $25 shipping.
And if you want this just the floppies, like if you're like, hey, I don't want. Now here's the thing: if you just get the volume 1, that's going to start shipping out like next week.
Oh,
like
okay.
in the next 2 or 3 weeks, because I have copies already.
Oh, nice, nice.
My son's friend passed away. He was 16,
Oh,
and so
man.
we have to go to a funeral. Not next week, but a week from today. A week from this Sunday, we leave to go to Florida for a few days, so he can be with his friends and go to the funeral, pay his respects. And so I won't be shipping that week, obviously, but we're going to be shipping out Rift Riders this starting Monday. We
seen
start
those.
shipping out Rift Riders, so
They're looking good.
that's going out. Yeah, that's looking really good.
on Twitter.
Yeah, so that's going out next week. And then when I come back, anybody that backed book 1, the volume 1, on Indiegogo or this one, they're going to go ahead and get them. I'm going to go ahead and ship them out.
That's awesome.
Since that's going to be the only thing they got. That way they can go ahead and start reading it because I already got the money, right? So no point in me waiting to ship that out.
Right.
So we're going to go ahead and get that out to people. If you just want the floppies, so you're like a collector, and I want the 9 issues, you can go to my website and get them right now.
Oh,
You
okay.
can order them right now, yeah.
I'll put that. I have a link from watching pinned to this website right now to this page at the top, so you guys can go right there, and I'll go back and I'll put the his website on here too as well later on, so you guys can go there.
Yeah, you can also
video.
get them from arrowcomics.store.
Sweet.
Now, again, I'm going to give you guys a spoiler. I charge, because I have different covers sometimes than what Arrow Comics has, but they all ship from me. Because Randy takes care of some of them, and I take care of some of them. But, because I've got such a large stock of books, they all ship from me. So you can also buy them from Arrow Comics and save a couple of bucks per issue, because Arrow Comics only charges the retail price, the cover price. I charge the collector price, which is $7. So that's part of the deal. I can't charge $5 a book because Arrow Comics charges $5 a book, and the retailers will charge $5 a book. So I can't have it for the same price on my own website, because then I'm undercutting my publisher and any store that would sell it. So I have to sell them on my website for $7 a book. So either way, if you want to save some money, go to Arrow Comics and buy it.
Hear that, folks? You heard it here.
Yeah.
On Open the Gates. Go to Arrow Comics.
Yeah, go ahead and go over there. Otherwise, if you just want to give Luke a little extra spending money, go to lukestonestudios.com and buy the books.
And Arrow Comics, if you guys don't know who they are, there's some OGs in the comic industry.
Yeah,
They put out a lot of stuff.
1983.
Sure are.
Been around.
They've been
Yeah.
around. They put out a lot of big stuff that you guys probably don't even know,
Yeah.
like that they're responsible
I'm
for.
learning so much. I'm learning so much from them.
Come check this campaign out, guys. It needs some love. All right.
Yes, it does.
We got to get it up there. Come pick up the Killing Fields Trash Day pick up the game, the role playing game. It's a massive universe he's been working on for a long time. It's looking badass, and yeah, come check it out, guys. It's pinned up at the top.
Yeah, and money is tight right now. We all know that. You know, it's tight for a lot of people. If you can't afford to back the book, share the link.
Share it.
Yep. Share it out.
Because it costs you nothing. It takes you just a second just to click, and it makes a huge difference. You can actually make a big contribution just by sharing links.
Yeah. The good news is Fund My Comic doesn't use algorithms.
Ah.
So you're not fighting, creators aren't fighting algorithms with us. If you're in the featured, it's because somebody tipped the website. And we have that at the top. Tip the website, goes to help that creator get pushed up to the featured
I love that.
section.
It's completely
so cool.
capitalism, and I love that shit.
Total capitalism.
Like, boom, give me at the top.
And,
okay.
And honestly, we decided to do that because it helps us and it helps the creator.
Yeah.
And
well, you guys need money to run your website, dude.
We do.
How are we gonna be taken care of? Like you got to get taken care of so you can take care of us. Like straight up. I mean, people need to understand this. Like
one of these days, maybe I won't have to take commissions.
Oh yeah.
I could just work on Fund My Comic and draw my books, right? But right now I'm having fun working on. I'm working on 3 or 4 different books right now that are not my own. So yeah, I'm pretty busy most days. So
that's pretty
Busy
cool,
is
man.
Good.
And you're getting your name out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're still like a young guy. You got a awesome.
Yeah.
Well, still, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look young to me, and you got Fund My Comic. It's I know a lot of people are gonna go on there. I haven't talked to anybody. I just fucking know they were. I know I would love to go on there. You know what I mean? So you're in a great spot right now. A lot of people don't know about it, but they're gonna know about it, and they're gonna want to go on there. I gotta ask you though.
Pretty excited about it.
What's your favorite movie?
Oh, dude, that's a tough question to ask. There's so many good movies out there.
Top three.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
what genre?
Anything you want.
Anything you
Your
want?
favorites, like your go-tos.
Yeah, like
My go-tos.
And it changes. I know it changes.
All right. Well, I'm not going to pick a franchise. I'm not going to pick a franchise because that's not fair.
Right.
Because that's like multiple movies. I'm going to pick stuff that either is like a one-off or something like that. All right. So Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, good.
It's got to be up there because that movie. Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah, it's just
Let me see.
real knee smacker.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
I seen that in 4th grade, man. I was just crying so hard in the movie theater, laughing my ass off.
Yeah,
My buddies.
and I would say The Shawshank Redemption.
Solid.
I love
movie.
that. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Frank
And then
Darabont.
let me see what else.
Yep.
What else? One more. One that whenever it comes on, I just have to stop and watch it. That's not Star Wars. An old Star Wars.
It could be. Yeah, it
If
could
you like
be
Star
like
Wars-
Empire Strikes Back, for instance. That's one of my
I
favorites.
mean, obviously, I like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you see that all back there.
Yeah.
Obviously, I like Star Wars. Let's see,
Wars
but I'm
dope.
not gonna mention that one. Let me see. One more.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, because I'm like a movie file. I love movies.
Like the PJ like verse, like Peter Jackson verse, like for me that's all one movie, and I'm like it's up
Yeah,
there. It's like my
that's
top.
all.
It's like top. It kind of
That's my wife's favorite.
You know, I
Anything
love those
Lord of the
movies.
Rings is hers. I love anything Star
Fantastic.
Wars.
Anything Peter Jackson
I love-
did for Lord
I
of the
love
Rings.
most things Star Wars. Let me say I like most things Star Wars. And let me see. I think I got to go back with a classic that I just love to watch.
Yeah.
Let's go with Ghostbusters.
Okay, that's a good one.
I think that one. I think I could watch that. I think I can watch that any day. The original. I could watch that any day.
Good old Bernie Wrightson doing the character design on there too.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
OG
Bernie
right there,
Wrightson.
dude.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
What a great job he did on that, man. I
Right.
loved it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I'd say those are probably my 3. Now, I mean, there's like serious like. Oh no! Hold on. Take off. Take off
GB.
Ghostbusters.
Take off the GB.
All right.
All right, I know which one it is.
Okay.
I'm obsessed with this. Okay, so I like musicals,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
But I also like
Musical?
dark things.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Sweeney Todd.
I'm about to say it's maybe Sweeney Todd.
I
Yeah,
effing love Sweeney Todd. I
Yeah, me
just
too.
Pretty good one.
Me too.
I will just
Sacha Baron Cohen in
daydream.
there. It's pretty good.
I daydream about Sweeney Todd some days. I'm like, oh,
Well, because here's the thing about musicals. I generally don't like musicals because the music isn't good. The songs aren't good. The songs in Sweeney Todd are really good. I remember
They are.
watching
good.
the theatrical version on HBO when I was a
Yeah.
kid, and the
Yeah.
only way you could get me to watch a musical is if it's about like a serial killer slash
Yeah.
cannibal, right?
Well, I
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Okay, so Sweeney Todd,
I loved
obviously,
it.
I love, but I like Les Mis. I think the music's great in that. It's weird that they sing almost every word. I think there's like not even like 5 words that are in it that aren't sung. There's like only like 5, but almost every word is sung, and that like amazes me that
Yeah, all
that
those
they
notes.
could do that. And then I really like that Click Click Boom musical that just came out. It was kind of based on the life of the guy that wrote Rent. I don't really like Rent, which is funny, but I like the musical written about his life. I
Interesting.
like that one. I like that. But yeah, so there are musicals that I do enjoy. Phantom of the Opera I always liked. Cats
see
I always
that
thought
one.
was absolute garbage. I never liked Cats.
Yeah, that movie's kind
And
of
then
weird.
when they made that weird movie with
Oh
the,
my
Yeah, weird.
I was like, it's even worse, man.
I'm
This
like,
is
what are you
terrible.
watching? My kid was watching that. I'm
Why
like,
would you
"Hell
do
is
this?"
that?
Yeah, so
What is this?
there are, and I really like that Greatest Showman. I really like that one
She
too. I
watches
don't know
that
if
a
you've seen
lot.
that. Yeah.
Wolverine.
Great
yeah.
music in that.
Well,
you
for
know.
me,
I can't.
I want to see a movie about him though, about Barnum. You know what I mean? Like a Scorsese directed one. Maybe
Right.
because he did so much stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he did so much cool stuff in the
But
movie.
look-
It just kind of
But
kinda
like P.T.
scrapes it up
Barnum,
and- yeah.
but like P.T. Barnum would have done the exact same thing with his life story.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's what he did in
The
life.
Big Showman, right?
Whatever it was, he just lied a little to make it better.
Yeah.
And there's just something about that, like, it just is great. I used to watch, what's that show? The guys with the beard, Duck Dynasty.
Oh yeah.
And Uncle Si on there would crack me up because he'd always be like, no, you got to spice it up a little bit, like when you're telling a story.
Yeah.
And what he means is, no, you gotta make some of it up. You got to make
Right.
it better. You got to make it more entertaining.
Embellish the truth.
Right. You got to embellish it a little bit.
That's what
And
I love about that movie, Big Fish, right? And this
Oh, I
guy's
love
wondering,
that.
like,
Yes,
why,
great
That's a good
movie.
one.
Why
Yeah,
did my
yeah.
father lie to me? And then he finds out he
didn't.
wasn't.
No, he just, which is what I loved about the whole idea with the Nephilim being this embellishment for the Greek gods,
Oh yeah.
which then makes me take my own realities and embellish them for the story. But no, and then sometimes, here's how you know when I'm really telling the truth. When I'm like, I swear, I'm not spicing this thing up. Like, this is the truth. Like, I've told
right.
stories about my family to my kids. I said, no, you have no idea. I'm not making this up. They're like, yeah, right. Because they know I have a tendency that I'll spice things up.
Well, I mean,
To
that's
make
the
it more
nature of
tellable.
writers, right?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah,
basically-
you have
we're
to, dude.
basically like liars.
Right.
Yeah. You gotta put a little sizzle and a little spice on there. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
comedians do
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same thing. If you're a comedian, that's what you do. If you're a
Right.
songwriter, you do that. You take the reality
perform a little
and then
bit,
you,
Any
know?
kind of
you
storyteller.
make it better. Yeah,
Yeah.
You puff it up a little bit,
Yeah.
And
seasoning.
so
Entertainer.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I tell my kids stories, and finally one day we actually were having dinner with my sisters, and my sister started going off in like this tangent. She stopped. She goes, "Your son's right there. My son's 13." And I said, "No, go ahead. I want him to know that all the stories I've been telling are true." And so she goes on, and I look at him and I go, "Did I make any of it up?" He goes, "You kind of held back, Dad." I go, "That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Oh
saying."
man.
Yeah,
Oh, fellas, I'm sorry. I gotta go. I gotta get things ready for the horror movie club. Luke,
Oh, have fun
good
with that.
seeing you, brother.
Brian, I
And
love you, man.
best of luck. Right back at you. And like I said, you didn't grab an oar. You built a canoe. Everybody, go to Fund My Comic and create an
account.
An
account.
Yeah, register.
And a campaign.
And Brian, we gotta get you on the Nerd Bacon someday.
Oh hell yeah! And any old time, hit me up.
All right.
Right. Peace.
All right. See,
See you in a bit, Brian.
it's a nice pirate shirt he's got going on there.
Oh yeah. Swashbuckles.
Yeah, I can't really pull that stuff off.
I can't. Brian does it good. I gotta ask you one more question, man.
Sure, feel free.
What's your favorite brew or beer?
Oh, my favorite beer?
yeah.
Oh, you see, it used to be Sam Adams Cherry Wheat.
Dude, yeah, I used
used
to
to
love
be.
that as a kid. When I mean a younger man.
Yeah.
I'm almost 40.
Yeah,
Come on,
I'm
much.
40. I'm 42.
Oh, okay.
Used to be, right? And I've never been a big drinker in my life because my brother was an alcoholic, my uncle an alcoholic.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
It runs in my family. I easily could become an alcoholic.
Me
I
too.
love the taste too much.
Me
Okay.
too. It's hard.
So we're getting ready to get real honest here.
Yeah, yeah.
I bought some beer for my chili.
Oh yeah, totally.
My
Me too.
chili has to have beer in it.
Me too.
So I told my wife, I said, go pick up a can.
Yeah.
This was over in Jack's. We had this big liquor store called, I can't remember the name of it, but it was big. It was like a mecca for alcoholics. I mean, it's gorgeous. Nice. And so I said, go pick up a can of beer. And I said, I said, I don't know. Something that's a thick, kind of lagerish thing. That's what I want.
Yeah.
She brings back a can of Yingling. I've never had Yingling, right?
Yingling. Okay.
And she brings back Yingling, and I pop it open, I give it a taste. And I go, I actually like that one.
Yeah.
So I think Yingling is now my favorite.
Okay.
The Hershey's chocolate beer, that's garbage.
Whoa.
That's terrible.
I didn't even know they had a beer. That's crazy.
They did, yeah, they had a beer.
Oh snap!
And now I did for a while. I did enjoy, but pretty much Sam Adams was always my favorite.
Yeah. No,
The Boston Lager was really good. I really enjoyed that
always
one.
good. Yeah, just a
Yeah.
traditional one. And they were the
Yeah.
first ones I think in like the big industry to have good tasting beer. And then
They
would come out
were.
with all these
Yeah.
different styles back in the day before the whole beer boom took off like 10 years
Yep.
ago or whatnot.
They were just good, right?
They
But
always were.
I'm gonna be really honest with you. None of it compares to moonshine for me. I
Okay.
love spiced rum.
Yeah.
Spiced rum, I'm a sucker for. You give me some Coke and some spiced rum.
Oh yeah, me
and
too.
I'm
Yeah.
down for that, right?
I like that too.
But I love moonshine. Absolutely love moonshine.
I'd love to
I
try
love
some
apple
of that.
pie moonshine. I love sweet tea moonshine. I love it all. Now my wife and I went on vacation. We were in the Smoky Mountains. We were at the
Oh,
Smoky
nice.
Mountain Brewery, the
Nice.
distillery.
Yeah.
Okay, we go there, and you can sample all of their stuff for free. They give you a little
nice.
thimble of
That's
everything,
fun, right?
and you can taste it all. If there's one that you don't want to taste, you put your hand over it, and they won't pour it. But they come around and
Nice.
do it. And I said, I'm going to do
Shine.
all of them.
Yeah.
Every last
Right.
one. of them. Even
Yeah.
the ones that burn, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, like
And I did it. Unfortunately, it was 10 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, I've been there before.
And unfortunately, I didn't realize that how high a proof
Yeah, they're
some of
pretty
them were
strong.
going to be, right?
Yeah, that 90 and up.
And I tried every flavor that they had, right? Just a thimble.
Yeah, that's
But by the time you try all the flavors and you eat the cherries that's soaked in it,
yeah, you're done, dude.
I'm gonna tell you, there was this. I went out and I had a conversation with this nice guy. He was pretty hairy, but I was standing out there having a conversation with this guy. He wasn't saying much. But he was really agreeable. Agreed with everything I said. And then my wife come up and she goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just talking to this fella here." She goes, "That's a bear statue. What are you?" I go, "What?" I'm like,
Oh,
"Well, it's
man.
wearing a hat." She goes, "We got to get you back to the hotel room. You are not driving."
Yeah, right.
We walked. She walked me
Yeah.
back up the hill, and I'm leaning. I'm like, I have never been that way in my entire life, and it was like, but I'm like, yeah, had a great conversation with a bear statue.
It was a fun time, huh?
It was a fun time. It was the first and last time that I have ever gotten. I wouldn't call it drunk. I wasn't drunk,
Yeah, that's something else, right?
but it was close. It was whatever
Yeah.
it was. It was something.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like,
That-
oh my gosh.
You were shining.
Well, I hadn't even had breakfast yet either. That was the thing.
Oh, man.
I did it on an empty stomach. I'm a complete noob, but I just loved the taste of it. And I was like, all of it was so good. They go, which one was your favorite? I go, can we try them again? And then they go,
I'll
no, you shouldn't do that. You're only allowed one time through.
I'll have to try out some more moonshine, dude.
Yeah, I love moonshine.
I don't really get it around here, obviously, but they have
Apple
some
pie
knockoff
moonshine.
ones.
Actually, most liquor stores, if you got a liquor store, you can get a moonshine. I do like the illegal stuff, the stuff that's homebrewed. It's really, really good.
Yeah,
But
that's the stuff. Yeah.
yeah, I like to make my pork chops in moonshine.
Ooh,
Apple
nice.
pie moonshine. Do apple pie moonshine, a little bit of applesauce and some cinnamon, and then cook them in that. cook them in that, and then or brine them in that,
Yeah.
and then just pour it all out and just cook it.
Ooh.
Sear them off real quick, and then throw them in a pan in the oven with the juice.
That
And
sounds fire.
Just let them cook. Yeah.
You were
It's really
talking
good.
about
It's really good.
chili too. I like doing chili every now and then. I do beer, but also when I started off, I chop up onions. I put the onions in the pot, only onions. Then I throw in some steak. I'll buy a thin cut steak like
okay.
Milanesa. I cut the steak when it's partly frozen, so I can get like symmetric squares. I throw that
Yeah.
in there. So I'm just cooking the onions in the steak. Then I throw in
There you go.
then I throw in the ground beef, man, and then I'll usually use like 3 different chilies. I'll chop half of it,
Nice.
and then I'll blend the other half. Throw that in.
Nice.
Throw in my kidney beans. Throw in my Italian canned tomatoes, only diced.
Nice.
Or
Okay.
yeah, I don't use the
We
fresh
don't
ones.
use
Cans are
much.
the best.
I don't use much tomato, man. No, I actually don't. I only use a little bit of chili powder,
Oh,
and I
okay.
use a lot of other things.
I use a lot of cumin.
I actually use gumbo
Ooh,
seasoning.
okay. That sounds pretty
So
bomb.
it's about 50-50 gumbo. I have to quiet it down for my family.
Me too, man.
So yeah, I quiet it down
I
quite
could only
a bit.
put jalapenos and bell peppers. I couldn't do anything else, like and kidney beans.
I don't
and I
put
do the cornbread.
I put cayenne pepper in there, but only a little bit.
Yeah.
But I put a lot of honey, believe it or not.
Oh, honey? Yeah, I don't do that.
honey.
I put mustard in
Honey
mine.
Honey will make it sweet.
Honey's bomb.
It
I also
will-
put a Worcestershire. That one's pretty bomb.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I get and I make my own barbecue sauce too. But
Ooh,
but
nice.
I get that to where when you take a bite of that, after the onions and the peppers, take a bite. It's real sweet.
Yeah.
Like it has that like savory sweet flavor.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
got the hoppiness in there, but and then it has that, and then it goes from sweet, and it kind of takes this right
Sweet
into
to heat. Sweet to heat.
right into heat. It goes from sweet, and it takes you into some other notes like
Yeah.
jazz, and then
Yeah.
it just burns.
Yeah.
Just burn. It tingles. It
Grenaded.
tingles. Yeah, it
Making me
tingles
hungry,
and it
man.
feels good. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love my chili. Now my wife's chili is pretty good. Pretty good too. She's won contests with hers.
Oh wow.
She beat me in the contest with hers. She made hers in 45 minutes. Mine took
Damn.
4.5 hours to do.
Yeah, mine takes 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah,
It
it's
takes
slow
a
and
minute.
slow.
And I'm slow. I ain't gonna lie. When I cook, I go real slow. I'm just a slow cooker, just in general.
Yeah, there's a few things that I make that are really good. The best thing I make is probably my smoked pork butt.
Oh,
I'm
that
really
sounds
good at doing
fire.
this pork butt. I
Yeah.
smoked the turkey this year for Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah. That's super
yeah, my
bomb.
son and I smoked it. It was the best turkey I've ever had.
Yeah, dude. That's
I mean,
good.
it was the juiciest turkey. I normally don't like white meat because it's so dry.
Yeah, but that
But no, it was when we cut it. It was like water was running out, like juice was running out of the thing. It was so juicy. Yeah.
we usually do we like my brother-in-law does that, but sometimes some years me and my wife will do it. She does the bag, but I get the turkey injectors like with the Tony
Right.
Shatterans, and I'll do the
Got to,
thighs.
yeah.
But then I also do the I call it stuff in the bra. I get like some butter and I stick it under the skin. And I like
Yes.
bacon up on top, right up on top, a lot of garlic. Oh man, that's
Yeah.
that's how I do it.
Yeah. Try stuffing it with oranges and onions.
Ooh, that sounds
Stuff the core of it. The
sounds pretty rich.
stick it in there. Yeah. Stick it
Yeah.
in there.
Very,
And it
probably
will-
smells really aromatic and sweet.
And,
in the
yeah,
house.
and then I made my own brine this year, and then my
Ooh,
own
nice.
butter injection this year too. So, I mean, we went all out on the recipe. Well, because I missed the year before. I was in
Yeah,
the
no, you
hospital,
got to.
you know.
You got to, and you got to do that. Like this year,
Yeah.
I switched careers. I've been doing the same career like for the last 16, actually 20 years. And
Oh,
this
wow.
year, I was like, I wanted to switch things up. So I did. But I got to be here for the holidays for the first time. So I'm doing some stuff. You know what I mean? I'm
You
going
got
to do
to, man,
Halloween. I'm
yeah.
going to do Christmas. I'm going to do Thanksgiving.
Man,
I'm going
you
to do New
got to,
Year's.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was nice for
Look.
once.
Look, I thought I was taking my
You know?
my last breath. August of 2021. I thought I was checking out, man. I thought I was done.
Yeah.
And when I woke up, I was surprised. And then I couldn't be home for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
I was, and I'm still weak, but I mean, I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
Couldn't lift my head hardly, you know? I mean, I had a long road to recovery. If you go to my YouTube or if you go to my Rumble, you can see a video of the 1 year progress after I got out of the hospital. But you look at this stuff for family a lot different when you don't get it all the time, right?
Right.
Or when you think you're never going to have it again. And that's kind of how I approached last holidays. I said, I'm never going to, and this is my, this is Easter, man. So we've got family coming over for Easter.
Yeah, dude.
We're back home. We're closer to home where everybody can get together. So we've pretty much got all of my wife's family coming in tomorrow for Easter, And so
that's what I'm doing too.
It's nice, man.
We're gonna have ceviche. I'm going over my in-laws. So it'll be fun. Switch it up. Usually we do like ham and potato salad and stuff like that.
Yeah, but, that's what we're doing. But
yeah, man,
ceviche,
that's cool.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty refreshing sometimes.
I love food, man.
Yeah, me too. I'm a foodie. I'm a food stamp.
I love food, man. Yeah.
Well, Luke, we got to have you back on the show again, man.
Anytime.
When you launch your next book, man, I'd love to have you on. It's fun talking with you. Like I said earlier in the show, there's a lot to unpack with the hybrids. I'd love to talk more about it. Talk more about a bunch of stuff. I want to get in, maybe talk a little more about your artistic process and writing processes too. I'd love to talk about that. So, I didn't think we'd be able to handle a lot of that because I know you're a busy man. And you have a lot of pots cooking. So, but thank you for coming on to my humble show. I believe this is only the 26th episode, and I really appreciate it. But yeah, thanks for coming, man. I was wondering, where could people find you at?
Easy. Go to lukestonestudios.com. From there, you can find all of my social media links. You can find my YouTube channel, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And that's probably the best place to find me. You can find my merch and stuff on there. I got all kinds of stuff. Website gets pretty good traffic, but it could always be better. But yeah, it's an easy way to find me at lukestonestudios.com.
Sweet. So you guys hear it, lukestonestudios.com. Thanks everybody for coming and watching. Have a happy Easter. Remember to be bold, be brave, and roll the bones to know your role. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.